I remember the sound of her knock, small, hurried fists against a stranger's painted door. 7 years old, my daughter, my blood, left there like an unwanted package while my parents, her grandparents, drove away without looking back. I didn't scream when I found out. I didn't cry. I only listened to the police officer who called me, his voice tangled with disbelief. "Sir, are you aware your parents abandoned your child?" That was the last day they mistook my silence for weakness. Once I believed in them. My father's hand on my shoulder the day I graduated law school. My mother's quiet pride when she first held my daughter. I trusted them the way a son is conditioned to, blindly, instinctively. But love doesn't blind forever. Cracks began to show. Comments slipped like knives under the table. "She needs discipline. You're too soft on her." I ignored them. I wanted to believe it was care dressed as criticism. Then came the Miami trip. They insisted on taking her for an afternoon drive, a bonding day. I said yes. I shouldn't have. The evidence was too clean to ignore. Traffic cameras showed their car leaving my daughter behind. Her small figure standing frozen on a stranger's porch while their brake lights disappeared into the sun. It wasn't negligence. It was deliberate. When I called, my mother's voice carried no shame. "You need to toughen her up. We were teaching her a lesson." A lesson? That was the word that broke something inside me. I hung up without another word. I decided they would never teach another lesson again. I didn't move rashly. I moved like water, quiet, patient, inevitable. First, I gathered the traffic footage, the police report, the statement from the bewildered homeowner who found my daughter. Every piece of evidence slid neatly into a folder. My profession had taught me one truth: paper cuts deeper than knives when aimed correctly. Second, I prepared the strike. My father's business, built on trust, contracts, and clean image, was fragile under the right light. I knew his partners. I knew their secrets. One email with attachments, timed to hit inboxes at dawn, was all it would take. As for my mother, her charity board position thrived on appearances. The news cycle thrives on scandal. By midnight, everything was set. I didn't sleep. I watched the city lights flicker on the water and pictured them waking up to the sound of their empire cracking. The next morning was orchestral. My father's phone rang before breakfast, his partners demanding explanations. By noon, lawyers circled like vultures, clawing at breached contracts and ethical violations buried beneath years of arrogance. Meanwhile, reporters camped outside my mother's gated driveway. Cameras flashed as headlines spilled. Charity board member under investigation for child endangerment. Her polished image shattered in one broadcast. I didn't need to lift a finger. I had already pressed the button. That evening, I visited them. Not to rage, not to gloat, but to watch. The house smelled of panic, sweat, cigarette smoke, unopened wine. My father sat hunched, tie loosened, phone buzzing unanswered. My mother's mascara streaked down her cheeks, television muted but still replaying her shame. They looked at me like I was the executioner, though I never raised a blade. My father whispered first, "You did this." I didn't deny it. I didn't need to. I only said, "You left my daughter on a stranger's doorstep. This is mercy compared to what you deserved." His jaw clenched. He had no words strong enough to fight back. My mother tried softer tactics, tears spilling as she begged, "We're family." I let silence answer. Family doesn't abandon children. Family doesn't gamble with innocence. I turned to leave, and that was the final cut. They knew I wasn't coming back. People often expect vengeance to roar, to burn. Mine didn't. It moved like a shadow, precise and silent, until it stripped them bare. By the end of that week, their business collapsed, their reputations were dust, and their phone calls went unanswered. Not by accident, by design. I tucked my daughter into bed each night, kissed her forehead, and told her stories of heroes who never let monsters win. She never needed to know her grandparents were the villains. That was my burden, not hers. Do I regret it? No. Regret belongs to those who doubt their aim. I didn't miss. They thought betrayal would teach me weakness. It taught me clarity. They thought silence meant surrender. It meant calculation. And when their lives fell apart piece by piece, they finally understood. I wasn't their son anymore. I was the reckoning they raised.